Welcome Primary 5, Miss Liba Ahmed is with you. Today we will take part 2 from lesson 1 in unit 3, which is talking about food relationship. We take in the first part the predation-food relationship, and we know the meaning of predation, and we take predation in plants and in animals, and we know the ways that the animals make to escape from their enemies by camouflage and mimicry. Today we will take the food relationship number 2, which is called symbiosis. Symbiosis is a food relationship between two different living organisms, and we have three types of symbiosis. Number 1, repeat after me: mutualism, 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 commensalism, 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 parasitism, 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 mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, mutualism, commensalism, parasitism. Okay, so we are talking about the second food relationship, which is called symbiosis. Symbiosis is three types: mutualism, commensalism, parasitism. Let's start with mutualism. In mutualism food relationship, both living organisms get benefit from each other. What is the meaning of that? That meaning that the two living organisms, both of them, one of them give the other something and the other give the other something. The two of them get benefit from each other. The examples that we have in mutualism, the nodular bacteria and the leguminous plant. Nodular bacteria is a type of bacteria. Leguminous plants, they are type of the plants like the beans that we eat at the breakfast. All of us eat beans on the breakfast. Okay, leguminous plants. So let's see what is the meaning of mutualism and what is the relation between the leguminous plants and the nodular bacteria. As you can see, that's the roots of the leguminous plants. So leguminous plants are types of plants, okay, which is called leguminous. Okay, okay. The leguminous plant here, or there is that's the roots of the leguminous plant. Can you see this circle? Okay, here. Can you see this circle? These circles, they are the nodular bacteria. So the nodular bacteria are living on the roots of the leguminous plants. Okay, okay. There is a food relationship between the nodular bacteria and the leguminous plant. What is this food relationship? The nodular bacteria give or provide the leguminous plant with nitrogen. Okay, and the leguminous plant needs this nitrogen to make the photosynthesis process and to make the protein. Okay, so the nodular bacteria provide the plant or the leguminous plant with nitrogen gas. Okay, then the leguminous plant take this nitrogen and make photosynthesis and produce the sugar or the glucose. Okay, and give some of this sugar to the nodular bacteria. So nodular bacteria give the plant nitrogen gas and the plant gives the sugar to the nodular bacteria. So the both living organisms benefit from each other. Okay, one more time, what is the mutualism food relationship? It's the food relationship in which the both living organisms benefit from each other. The examples that we have in mutualism food relationship, it's the relationship between nodular bacteria and leguminous plant. The nodular bacteria provide the bean plant or the leguminous plant with the nitrogen, and the bean plant take this nitrogen to make photosynthesis and produce the sugar, and the bean plant or the leguminous plant gives the sugar for the nodular bacteria. Okay, so nodular bacteria give the plant nitrogen and the plant gives the nodular bacteria sugar. Okay, so we finished the mutualism food relationship. Let's go to the commensalism food relationship. In the commensalism food relationship, one living organism get benefit and the other living organism neither benefit nor harm. What is the meaning of that? Let's know the example and understand. understand the meaning of commensalism food relationship. Here we have this example. This example is the food relationship between sponge, this is the sponge, and tiny aquatic living organism. What is the meaning of that? Tiny aquatic living organisms, they are very small fish that live inside the water. Very, very small fish. Okay? We named it by tiny aquatic living organism. Okay? Okay. And that's the sponge. Sponge is an animal that never moved from its place. Okay? It's grow in its place and never moved from it. As you can see, that's the shape of the sponge. Okay? The tiny aquatic living organism or the very tiny fish, okay, take their home from the sponge. This is an opening inside the sponge. They live inside the sponge here in this opening, so they take the home from the sponge, and also they take the food from the sponge. How that they take the food from the sponge? The sponge is an animal that that's the shape of the sponge. Okay, okay. The sponge feeding by getting the water inside it. Okay, and when the water get inside it, it select its food from the water and feed. Okay, when the tiny aquatic living organism are in the sponge. Okay, so when the sponge is feeding, okay, and eating, the sponge let the water to get inside it. Okay, the tiny aquatic living organism in this time also select their food with the sponge from the water. So the tiny aquatic living organism get their home or shelter and get their food from the sponge. One more time. The tiny aquatic living organism live inside the sponge, inside the opening of the sponge. Okay, when the sponge it's started to feed, okay, it enter the water inside it and select its food from the water. When it enters the food, when the sponge enters the water inside it, the fish also selects the water with the select the food from the water with the sponge. So here the sponge gives to the tiny aquatic living organism shelter. What is the meaning of shelter? Meaning home and food. Okay, here the tiny aquatic living organism takes shelter and home from the sponge. What the sponge get from the tiny aquatic living organism? The sponge take nothing. Okay, so in the commensalism food relationship, one is get benefit and the other neither benefit nor harm. Okay, it's not get benefit or get harm from the other living organism. Okay, so which living organism here is get benefit? The tiny aquatic living organisms or sponge? Very good, the tiny aquatic living organism. And which one? In the commensalism food relationship here in this example, okay, neither benefit nor harm, it's the sponge. Okay, okay, so don't forget, in mutualism food relationship, both living organisms benefit from each other. The nodular bacteria gives the plant nitrogen and the leguminous plant gives the nodular bacteria the sugar. Okay, okay, but in the commensalism food relationship, one is get benefit but the other neither benefit nor harm. The sponge gets nothing from the tiny aquatic living organism, but the tiny aquatic living organism gets shelter and food from the sponge. Number 3 is the parasitism. In the parasitism food relationship, one living organism gets benefit and the other is harmed. The living organism in parasitism which gets benefit, we call it parasite. And the living organism which is get harmed in the parasitic food relationship, we called it host. Okay, so in parasitic food relationship, one get benefit but the other is harmed. The living organism which get benefit is called parasite, and the living organism which get harmed is called the host. The parasite causes weakness, okay, to the host, but without killing, okay. The parasite causes the weakness to the host without what? Without killing, okay, okay. We have two types of parasitism, internal parasitism and external parasitism. In the next session, we will know the difference between internal and external. But before ending this session, we must know that the symbiosis food relationship has three types: mutualism, commensalism, parasitism. In mutualism, suppose living organisms benefit from each other. Nodular bacteria give nitrogen to the leguminous plant, and the leguminous plant give the sugar to the nodular bacteria. Number two, in the commensalism, one is get benefit, but the other neither benefit or harm. The sponge get nothing from the tiny aquatic living organism, but the tiny aquatic living organism gets shelter and food. In the symbiosis food relation, sorry, in the parasitism food relationship, okay, the one living organism get benefit, which is called parasite, but the other get harm, which is called host, and the parasite causes the weakness to the host without killing it. Thank you for listening. Miss Hiba Ahmed was with you.